BS3 Network, changing the way you listen to podcasts.
My name is Al High, and you are tuned into Casual Highlights, the podcast, part of the BS3 Network. All right, what is going on? Welcome to another edition of Casual Highlights, the podcast where we love humanity, live on purpose, and highlight sports. My name is Al High, host and founder of this great platform. Episode 75, the Women's March Madness. And I have with me today Adrianna Parker. I met this great young woman at Big 12 Women's Tournament, man, which was a phenomenal tournament. Texas was out here dominating. And we just talked a little bit of basketball when we was taking photos. And so I invited her to come on the platform, and we're just going to talk about this bracket right for a little bit right now. It's women's side, because this is actually, I watched the game. If you've been listening to Casual Highlights, I've gone to KU and K-State to cover games. And so I'm tuned in a lot more now than just watching on TV. But I had to I call her the expert because she's watched a little bit more basketball than me, and I wanted to pick her brain about this evening as we record this right now on any gripes or how her bracket looked. Adrianna Parker, welcome to Casual Highlight.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.
Yeah.
So let's start. That is women's tournament. It's already predicted that it's going to beat the men's numbers. It's going to dominate again, which I'm very excited about. But I did have some gripes, and I know 7 teams from the Big 12 got in. Mm-hmm. But starting out, what were your gripes? Because sometimes the committee overseats or underseats. What teams you thought were misplaced in this year's tournament?
Honestly, when I look at this year's tournament and I look at all the predictions from other people, from whether it's, ESPN, Bleacher Report, everybody, I'm looking at what numbers people are standing at. But honestly, what I'm looking at most is specifically LSU versus Louisville. This is a huge thing that so many people, so many outlets are saying, oh my gosh, LSU and Louisville, they might match up again. They're making it a big thing because obviously Haley Van Lith was with
Louisville.
She was with Louisville for a few years, graduated, went on to LSU. I keep hearing about this. I know that's not the biggest gripe that I have, but I just wanted to get that off my chest. I keep hearing about, this is the biggest thing that's going to happen. She might upset her old team. She might get upset by her old team. I think let's let LSU get there first. Let's let Louisville get there first. I don't know. I know Louisville. Let me check the bracket. Louisville's pretty high up, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Louisville is a 6th seed right now.
Yes. I think my lights just went off. Sorry.
I noticed that. I'm like, hey, she got a dark screen in there, movie theater or something.
No, I'll fix it in a sec. But yeah, like you mentioned, talking about the Big 12, just sitting right there at the Big 12, we were right there on the side of the court, seeing teams like Kansas State, Kansas. Who else did we see? Baylor, Texas. Obviously, we knew Texas. That I have nothing to say about that. We expected that. Number 1 for Texas. Number 1 for Madison Booker.
Baby Kevin Durant.
Baby Kevin Durant. Did you see they were saying they're gonna get her jersey retired on that side? Yeah. As a freshman. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm confident in the bracket that I made. I did notice some teams on there I wasn't expecting. I don't know if you saw Fairfield is in there. I think they're in the same region as South Carolina. Fairfield, it's a school that not a lot of people know about. They just submitted like a resume to the AP to get themselves submitted to say like, hey, we're a good team. think about us. That was kind of a surprising entry, I guess. But yeah, I'm excited. I am excited.
So to add to your thing with LSU, I put a post on one of my social media networks. I said that region 2 in Albany with LSU, Iowa, that region is a beast. Even like, because I'm in my head, I got K-State at least going to the Sweet 16 right now.
Oh yeah.
But Drake, from what I've watched, is a pretty decent team. Colorado was ranked like in the top 10 in the beginning of the year.
They were.
Yeah, they was Colorado. It was ranked pretty high. They was, and then they got to Pac-12 play, which was phenomenal play. But that and then we saw West Virginia play at the Big 12 tournament. I'm just saying like that Texas. I'm gonna say it right now. I got Texas coming out of Region 4.
Oh yeah.
I ain't even looking at nobody because the way that they're playing right now, that's gonna be a Final Four team. And I said they're gonna be a 1 seed and they're going to the Final Four. The way that they hit it off and the way that they played, they're going. So.
Oh yeah.
But I wanted to add, I don't know if you noticed this, I had a gripe. I felt like Oklahoma was seated too low. I know their record is 22-9. They did lose early in the season to the SWAC team, Southern University, at home. But they won the conference. They won the Big 12 conference, and they beat Texas twice.
That's true.
So that hurt my feelings with them as a 5 seed. You mean to tell me they couldn't even get a host to host like one of the top 16? That bothered me. And then the other gripe that I had was that Iowa State was seeded 7. I thought Iowa State the run, and they beat Oklahoma.
Yeah.
They beat the brakes off them by like 15, 20 points in Kansas City.
I thought Iowa State was a little bit low too. At the Big 12 tournament, I didn't get a chance to watch Oklahoma play live, to watch any of the teams, but I did see Iowa State. I'm not on the seeding committee. I would have put some of these teams in a few different places. I wasn't shocked at all to see how many Big 12 teams got into it. I know at the tournament itself, they were saying Big 12, it's a basketball conference.
Yeah.
So coming from Cincinnati, Ohio, that's where I'm from. And this is, I think it's Cincinnati's first year in the Big 12. I didn't know much about it, but I'm excited for it. I know you were also talking about Oklahoma, not a team that's going to be still in Big 12 next year. They are moving. I guess it's like their final push. Let's just let them get this one chance one more time. I do think that those wins they had over Texas in the beginning of the year, what was Texas' record? 28-4?
Yeah, they finished 28-4. Yeah, and they finished second in the conference.
Okay, having beat those top 2 teams, or having beat that top team not once but twice, their ranking does seem a little bit low. Once again, I'm not on the seeding committee, but there goes my lights again. But yeah.
But another one I'm gonna raise up to you was Ole Miss at a 7th seed.
I saw that too.
And they finished 3rd in the SEC. And you give them a 7th seed, they're gonna listen. If Notre Dame meets them in the second round, that's gonna be.
I know we're saying if, but my bracket is saying when Notre Dame beats them in this. I know how hard. I love Coach Yo. I love her team. I love what's going on down there, but I also love what's happening up in Notre Dame too.
Oh yeah.
I know at the Big 12 tournament, we were talking a lot about freshmen.
Yes.
Hidalgo. I didn't know that college players could commit robbery that Hannah Hidalgo does. When she steals, in the game, it's like you don't even see her coming. She's got her steal, she's got her points. She's generous. She shares the ball too. She assists. But Hannah Hidalgo alone is kind of like that Madison Booker at Texas. Obviously, their stats are a little bit different, but that may be a lot to say. But that's if I don't have Notre Dame beating Ole Miss, I have Hannah Hidalgo beating Ole Miss.
What you saying is guaranteed.
It's guaranteed on my bracket. Maybe not everybody's, but
right.
Just the games that I've seen. I mean, I know they had a slow start in Paris when they played South Carolina in Paris.
Yeah.
A whole different conversation with South Carolina. But yeah, but that's what it's looking like for me. Upsets happen all the time.
They do. But do you feel like with this, because we were talking about the freshman class just in the Big 12, but it's even more freshmen all over the country that we haven't even. So I don't even know all the freshmen, but do you believe with this freshman class now is going to ascend the women's game to another level? Because I mean, we've already been ascended since COVID.
Oh yeah.
But now it's really going to like torpedo to a different level with this new class. Like it's like Tupac, all eyes on me type stuff.
That exactly. I feel like that's what's running through all their brains right now as freshmen. Something that I've talked to almost everyone about. The women's game, obviously in the women's game, we've seen there's personalities. There's a sense of stick-to-itiveness. The women aren't going to leave after a 4-month season with their team. A lot of men's players, they'll go in for a year, sign a few NIL deals, get drafted. That's not happening in NCAA women's basketball, which in a sense, it's like, we're still not even. There's still there's still some discrepancies there, but those years that women have to stick around, I think the age is 22 that they can get drafted. Those years help them develop. They help people get used to their game, get used to their personality. That's why you see people like from South Carolina's team last year, they had 5 seniors. And most of the people that I know can name at least 3 of those seniors, specifically Aaliyah Boston. We know Aaliyah Boston. We know her colorful braids. We know all these things about her because she stuck around. When you bring it back to freshmen now, Madison Booker, Juju Watkins, Hannah Hidalgo, who do we see with Kansas?
We saw Samaya Nichols.
All these people.
Audrey Crooks.
Yes. All these women, this is just year one. Yeah. It's going to get scary. This is just year one. And I know conferences are shifting. People are going different places. Transfer portals are opening up, but it's just year one. 25% of their career is wrapping up. We still have the other 75%. So I think that's that. I know people talk about the Caitlin Clark effect and all these things, like when Sedona Prince was talking about the differences between NCAA men's and women's tournaments, but it's those freshmen that are going to keep people in it. Malaysia Fulwiley, I didn't even mention her. She just signed her Red Bull deal and Steph Curry deal.
Yeah.
Like there's something special happening in women's basketball, and it's happening in this freshman class. I don't know what year they're graduating, but this freshman class is something special. Yeah.
It's ascending, and they're going to set the bar.
Oh yeah.
For everybody else to come in. And I was thinking about, I wanted to add before we get into the bracket thing, but I was like, man, why? I believe the one and done rule killed men's college basketball. And it killed it over time because we don't have the storylines. We see you for 4 months and we don't hear about you or see you again until we might be turning in the middle of the night on TV where you might be overseas somewhere playing ball 5 or 6 years later or out the league. So that killed it. But most of those guys, you can't really help it because, they're the man of the house. They got a lot of them have to provide for their families. Whereas women, hey, I'm gonna go get my education. This is it. I'm a ball out and do it. But also too, I think it was a lot of cockiness with the men's game. And I'll go to the NBA and go develop. And you even see now with the NBA, I hate to say it, I stopped watching the All-Star game 2 years ago because the development was not there. I I think it was more about showcasing money. Whereas now the women, man, hey, we all hands on deck. We eat or be eaten.
Yeah.
That's what it is with the women's game. Eat or be eaten.
Yeah, I agree with you. I've heard a lot about the one and done. A few years ago, I kept asking my family, like, why? Because I had a sister that played sports at the University of Kentucky, a place where one and done happens all the time. It's standard. You don't get used to the players there. You don't develop that. I guess you don't become a fan of the player that's going to be there for 4 years. It's, I love, let's say, John Wall back in, I don't know when he played, but John Wall, 2000, a few years ago. Mm-hmm. I'm a fan of John Wall. He's a freshman. He's doing big things. And come May or April, whenever they get drafted, that's it. Now I'm wherever he went, Wizards fan or whatever team he went to. Like I kind of mentioned before, because the women do have to stick around, and we know there's no G League for women's basketball. It's I'm here to develop, even if the WNBA is not the final goal, especially now with all these NIL deals, which we could also talk about that too. But women, you can tell that they are there to develop. I remember people talking about a few years ago, they were saying the NBA is getting kind of boring. You know, I like to watch men's college basketball because they play with heart. They play like they want to be there. I don't see that anymore with men's college basketball, but I do see it with women's basketball. Mm-hmm. Dropping 51 points a night, shooting from the logo, getting 10 steals a game, averaging a double-double. That may happen in other games, but it's something that is so consistent in women's basketball that even as a freshman, I still want to tune in. I want to watch them develop. I want to see what Juju Watkins will be doing 2 years from now. Mm-hmm. That's not always something you can say about some big player in the men's game who, like, I can't even, my brain, I don't know if you saw that Kevin Garnett and Carmelo Anthony, like they were in the barbershop and they were like, I can't name 3 men's players. Mm-hmm. It's true. I don't know. There's not that stickiness. It's not sticking up here.
Yeah, it's not. It's like I said, the hunger is gone, and that's on the AAU coaches. That's on the high school market. The college coaches can only do so much, and then you got to add in even now the transfer portal. So you got all these different effects in the women's game, and then the women, they getting 2 degrees. So look, they getting bachelors and masters. They borderline doctors coming out here. You know, Dr. Lisa Leslie. You know.
Yeah, I mean, when you get those, I'm young enough to have been in college during the COVID-19 pandemic, but when you get people who were probably freshmen in 2020, I think that a lot of people have left or they are preparing to go into their 6th year of eligibility. Say you're there for 4 years, regular school, maybe they had an injury, maybe they had a COVID year. 6 years compared to the 1 year. If I know who you are for 6 years and I watch what you're doing for 6 years, I'm going to care more. I feel like we've developed like, this is my favorite player. I'll buy their jersey and I can now. But yeah, women's basketball, it's on. The game is growing.
It has. And I'm about to tell my age. I remember watching the first year of WNBA when Cheryl Swoops and Cynthia Cooper, Teresa Weatherspoon, Rebecca Lobo, Don Staley, all them was like on the Olympic team.
Yeah.
And
Lisa Leslie.
I was trying to like the W. This is cool. They're gonna have their own women's league. You know, I'm a little dude running around enjoying this. And the college game was just so passionate. I was just so excited about, watching Baylor and the domination of UConn and the respect. Even though I wanted other people to win, I respected it. I respected Maya Moore, and that they went like 78-0. Like she only lost like 2 games and like
a handful.
Like, this is nasty. This is nasty.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead. I want to get into the bracket, and I want to get. I have my final 4, 2 teams I just know that's going to dominate their region. and I'll share mine with you. But I want to start with your Sweet 16.
I just have my bracket open. Let me open it up one more time. My Sweet 16, one team that I know is going to be there is South Carolina. I know I that's just something that's true. But so my Sweet 16, we're going South Carolina is playing Indiana.
Okay.
I mean, a number 1 team against a number 4 team. That's just how that works.
Mm-hmm.
We have Nebraska against Notre Dame. I know I mentioned Notre Dame beating Ole Miss earlier.
Yes, you did. Mm-hmm.
The more that I say it out loud, the more I want more for Ole Miss, but I have to go with Hannah Hidalgo and Neil Ivey, and I have to go with that team. So Nebraska into. Oh wait, I'm talking about my Elite 8. Let me tell you about the Sweet 16. Oh wait, no, actually, okay, sorry. My thing is a little bit off. Okay, I do also have on the other side. I have Iowa, K-State. I know you talked. We watched K-State play. Iowa. I could go on for days about Iowa, but I won't. We also have LSU. We have UCLA. Some of the teams they play to get there. We have UCLA playing Creighton. I've never watched Creighton play, but I think I will tap into that. I'll tune in. Again, we have LSU and Louisville. Don't even want to think about that now, but we also had Colorado versus K-State. I want a lot for Colorado. I know that they had a disappointing end to their tournament. I wasn't able to catch that, but watching them, seeing what they were doing earlier in the season, they're a promising team, and they're not a team that typically goes far. So I want something for them. I also have Princeton in my Sweet 16.
Ooh, wait a minute.
I know.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You got Princeton beating Iowa?
Well, I don't have Princeton beating Iowa, but they're in there. We're talking about Sweet 16, right?
Yeah, because Iowa plays if Princeton beats West Virginia, they'll meet up with Iowa in the second round.
The round of 32, right?
The round of 32.
Yeah. Then the Sweet 16, we've got Iowa playing Princeton.
What matchups you looking at?
Well, I'm hoping I'm looking at the right thing. I pulled it up on one thing. Let me make sure. My round of 16. That's 16. Iowa. So Iowa is playing
because it would be Iowa against K-State because you picked K-State over Colorado.
Wait. I'm going like in a U. Let me start over.
All right.
I'm just the way that ESPN has it laid out. I can't look at everything at once, so I'm trying to scroll. Let me just tell you who in the second round, the round of 32.
Let's do that. All right.
Let's do that because that's what I've been looking at this entire time.
Okay. All right.
Cut the last part. Okay. So our round of 32 happening March 24th to March 25th. Yes.
All right.
So I've got South Carolina playing North Carolina. We know like Deja Kelly. I know they have a pretty good coach at UNC. South Carolina's taking that easy.
Light work. Mm-hmm.
Light work. Oklahoma versus Indiana. That's a 4 and 5.
Yeah, you said Indiana, Sweet 16.
Yeah, Indiana to Sweet 16 to go on and play South Carolina. That one I'm kind of iffy on. I know Oklahoma is a team in the Big 12 that I did just see play. I don't know. I'm pulling through with Indiana, but we'll see. Yeah. Moving forward, we have Nebraska versus Oregon State. I have Nebraska. I have an upset there.
Okay, I'm gonna pause you. Is Nebraska? So you got Nebraska losing. You got Nebraska beating Oregon State to go to Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's an upset.
Yeah. You have to have room for some upsets. You know,
Understand? Yep.
this is going to have to be one of them. I don't
Okay.
know. I don't know why, but it just felt right when I clicked it. I said, okay, that's right. That's right. So we got Nebraska taking Oregon State. Again, that Notre Dame, Ole Miss, Notre Dame again is they're making it for me. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Then we're moving on to Iowa. So Iowa, they're beating their 16 seed. They're playing against. Then we have West Virginia versus Princeton. I have an upset there. So Princeton is taking it versus West Virginia. The West Virginia team that I saw in Kansas City, they're not. I don't know.
They're more defensive oriented.
I think you're right.
Because you got Quickerly, who was the defensive player of the year in the Big 12.
Yeah.
So I look at them as heavy defense.
Yeah. I just see an upset there. I see the headline already in my brain, Bleacher Report. Upset alert. Like I just see that. Princeton, I know I think right now they're the only Ivy League school up in here, but you know, let's cheer for the Ivy Leagues. Nobody else will, so I will. Then we got Colorado playing Drake, and then I have Colorado playing against Kansas State. Okay. I know there was a little confusion earlier, but we did chat about that. We've got Louisville playing LSU, and then Creighton versus UCLA. Obviously, UCLA at the bottom. I think UCLA is taking that. I have UCLA ending up playing LSU.
Okay.
You're going to get mad at who I have winning, but I have UCLA winning.
Listen, I ain't mad at you. That's a good pick.
Because look, that's not even an upset.
If Louisville don't get them, UCLA gonna get.
UCLA is gonna get.
And look, I was about to put Rice be LSU.
I want to see that.
I was tempted. I ain't finalized my bracket yet, but somebody gonna get them in the one.
Somebody's getting either Iowa or LSU before they get each other.
I got Kansas State Elite Eight, and maybe I'm just a homer. But see, here's the deal with Kansas State. Kansas State, the last 3 times they played Iowa was 2-1, and the one time they lost to them by 7 points. They know Iowa.
That's true. That is so true. I didn't even think about that.
That is why I have if Kansas State gets by Colorado, which is not going to be easy because Colorado is good, and it's a good thing that they're at Bramlage playing. If they see Iowa, that'd be Caitlin Clark's last game. So I don't want to change the bracket, but this is Al High. That I'm picking.
I agree with you. I mean, obviously, either Iowa or LSU, if hypothetically, if one of them beats all their teams, one of them is making it. But I see one of these teams, Iowa or LSU, getting out early. Just a shocker, a complete that wasn't supposed to happen at all. It could be K-State playing Iowa, or it could be Rice earlier on against LSU. I don't know. Somebody's getting upset, and that's not because I'm a South Carolina fan. That's not. There's no bias, but I see an upset. I see it brewing. It's in the pot brewing right now.
Yeah, and it's too noisy at LSU either. It's noisy right now.
And I know it kind of scared me the last game. The reporters were saying after the scuffle and everything, they said LSU will only move on with 5 players. Everyone else will not be available for the game. And they went and corrected themselves and said, oh, it's just Camila Cardoso, who's been ejected, won't be playing in the next game. What scared me, I thought, LSU with 5 players only, no subs, in the first round of the tournament, playing a 14 seed. I don't know about their future. I do think that they are getting all their players back, but had the reporters not made that correction, it would have been one and done for LSU.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't, it may not be a one and done, maybe a two and done or three, but I don't know. I see them leaving.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you're making me reconsider my Iowa versus K-State. I want to take that back now.
And while you're playing, you might want to rethink West Virginia and beating Iowa too. Now, but that's your bracket. But over here,
my bracket's penciled in. If I need to erase, I'll cheat. Honestly, I'll cheat. That's tough for me, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, South Carolina, I have taken the whole thing, but we knew that. Right. But I would love to see a South Carolina Notre Dame matchup, like a rematch, I guess. First game of the season, last game of the season.
That'll be dope for the Elite Eight.
Mm-hmm.
I got that. That's my Elite Eight.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
I got South Carolina in the Final Four.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just certain things we know, and certain things we got to do this.
Certain things. I know. Where's UConn? UConn.
Now UConn is in the region with USC.
They are.
And we need to. What do you see? They've been quiet. They haven't been noisy in Stores, Connecticut. I actually have them in a deep run, Elite Eight type run. I don't know if I would take them by USC yet. Or Ohio, like that Ohio State UConn game gonna be a good game.
That'll be a good game. That'll be a good game if UConn has a bench.
They do.
They've got 8 players.
Yeah, that's all you need in the tournament. 8 players.
That's all you need. But
if you got 8 players in the tournament, that is a luxury because sometimes people go 6 or 7.
That's very true.
You got 8. Oh,
UConn, they're just so fragile. I feel like if I bump them into a corner, half the team is out. It's just I expected. I know we had TCU. We saw TCU live. I wanted to go to that game just to see the volleyball player and the other players who auditioned, who tried out. Yeah. I don't know why UConn didn't do that too. I don't know. It's not that his reign of terror is over, but I don't know. I don't have them in my Elite Eight though.
I'm gonna ask you this. I'm gonna ask you about a Kansas school. A potential second round matchup between USC versus Kansas. Samaya Nichols up against Juju Watkins.
Watkins. Mm-hmm.
Does Kansas have a chance against USC?
I think Kansas has.
Now I'm gonna add this caveat. Early in the year, they played a UConn, a Virginia Tech. They played a gauntlet of a schedule. I think they played Nebraska at the house. Mm-hmm. They played Texas, and they played better the second time against Texas. They beat Baylor at the house. They beat Oklahoma. I mean, they got rolling, and so I'm like that. And their coach, I can't pronounce his last name, Coach Brian.
Yeah,
he did say, "Hey, my team is playing much better now on tape now than what they were around November, December."
I do. I want Kansas. I want it to be competitive. I know that USC. I mean, in living where I live or where I was living before, it was kind of difficult to get those USC games in and to see how they were playing. I was watching the highlights and everything, though. I think that Kansas stands a chance. South Carolina, not South Carolina. That's the wrong USC. Southern California, USC. I do still have them moving forward, but I don't want that to be a quick, I mean, Kansas is not a bad team. What I think they're missing most, they have their aggressive freshmen. and Samaya Nichols. They've got, I think, Yvette
Mayberry, yeah.
Mayberry. They've got her. They've got what was number 15? I can't remember her name right now.
Franklin.
Franklin.
Yeah.
In the last game that we saw, once she got the ball, the game was moving. The points were up on the board. Things were happening when she got the ball. I think what they're missing a lot of is height. They don't have a Camila Cardoso. They don't have somebody that just goes in and dominates no matter who is playing the game. USC, I mean, Juju. I just can't get over Juju. Juju alone. She'll play them, but it'll be a good matchup between Juju and Samaya. And like we mentioned earlier, they'll be back. They're not going anywhere.
No, they're not.
I'm excited. I'm excited for it. I want something for Kansas though.
Yeah, I think if Tiana Twin Jackson, if she stay out of foul trouble, she gonna give you a double.
Oh yeah,
but she gotta stay out of foul trouble.
She needs to stay out of foul trouble. She reminds me a lot of Angel Reese with obviously the doubles, but the foul trouble. If you let this person get into foul trouble in the end of the first quarter, the beginning of the second quarter, that's kind of wraps. That's all they can do for you. Keep them out of foul trouble. Like they don't need to be everywhere. I mean, Tiana Jackson she's a super senior, so this would be her last go round, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy.
I like her game though. So was Zakiya Franklin.
Yeah.
Man. I want something for them, but I don't know how they're going to get past USC.
It's a heavy one. And let's go right quick to this other region right quick. I know you got to get out of here, but I got Texas coming out of Region 4. I listen.
100%.
Listen. We can go down here all day. Talk about how good NC State is. Stanford, I've seen Stanford play. I think Iowa State make a Sweet 16 run, but Texas is coming out that region. I don't care how you bake it, how you flip it. The 14, 15, 8, 9. Tech, baby KD is gonna carry them to the Final Four.
On her back, yeah.
On the back.
I've got her in there too. I know they're not a team that we usually see in there. But I've got them going there too. I know we're talking about that. I'm thinking about my Utah versus Gonzaga. I have another upset alert.
Okay, come on.
I've got an upset. Utah, I think Utah is going to beat Gonzaga. It's not a huge upset, but
that's not that.
Utah's got them. I want something for Tennessee and Rakia Jackson. I felt so bad for her this season. Just seeing. Not that she's the only player on the team, obviously, but she's a star that is shining among other stars, but she's not shining as bright as she could be. I think if she makes it into the WNBA, I'm not sure if she's declared for the draft. I don't know. I'm not tuned in with draft prospects that well, but I want something. I want her to end on a high note. I know a high note probably won't be the finals, but NC State is also a good team. I think that's going to be a good matchup. I haven't gotten around to watching very much Stanford basketball, but I know that you probably have Stanford playing Iowa State. Yeah. Man.
I smell an upset. That's my upset.
Well, that's not my upset, but I could see something. I could see Stanford not making it into Sweet 16, Elite 8. I know most people are projecting them to be in the Final Four. I don't know. I don't feel any type of way about Stanford. It may be because they're so far out. I don't feel any type of way about them. We'll see. If we're thinking of California schools that I feel some type of way about, we've got USC. But Stanford, I don't know. They're going to have to convince me. They're going to have to convince me against Norfolk State that they play. So,
right.
I don't know.
Hang it out. I'm gonna get you out of here on this. Who win it all?
Well, South Carolina statistically, personally, coaching wise, there's so many things that go into it. But South Carolina's got to take it. When you look at the depth that South Carolina has, I know we were talking about UConn and their 8 players, and eight's a lot. 8 is a lot, but when you have a whole bench, just a stacked bench like South Carolina has,
yeah.
If I don't know, if somebody has an off game, if we have Malaysia Full Wiley with an off game, which rarely happens, we've got a backup. If we have Camila Cardoso, if her hand is hurting, we've got a backup. South Carolina, it's like a never-ending talent pool. Then we can get into the coaching too. Obviously Coach of the Year for Dawn Staley, but with some of the recent events in basketball, the way that you see how Coach Staley responds to things versus how other coaches respond to things, she's a winning coach. And we see that obviously with their undefeated record, which for me is going to stay that way for the duration of the year. But it's just a winning team to me.
Yeah,
I have them taking it all. I don't even have to go in that deep into it because we all know why they're taking it. It's simple. It's kind of simple. Last year there were some issues last year against a player with the initial CC. In a matchup last year, but I think that now that South Carolina can prepare for other teams like Iowa, like Stanford, like obviously like the LSU, a team that they beat consistently. They have the winning recipe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Adrianna, where can we find your information at on the gram?
You can find me at Adrianna AEP, ADRIANNA AEP on Instagram, Twitter. That's kind of the only place that I stay. X.
I just want to. I know you.
Any place that you need to find me, that's probably my handle. So yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was great being here.
Hey, thank you for your time. Hey, we're gonna do this again because we gotta dive deeper. We gotta talk about the Big 12. I want to hear your experience. We're gonna on the next time I have you on, we're gonna talk about that and we can run it even more about NIL, women's basketball, women's sports in general. It's just so much that I want to touch with based on.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me.
Hey, Adrian, thank you for joining. This is Al High. You can also follow Casual Highlights on IG, Casual Highlights, HYGHLIGHTS. Also, Al High. That's AL.HYGH on the IG. Thank you for tuning in to this episode, part of the BS3 Network. Till next time, I'm Al High. Peace. Thank you for listening to Casual Highlights podcast. Like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Also follow the platform on Instagram and YouTube at Casual Highlights. That's HYGHLIGHTS. Till next time, disrespect your senses.